You saw the title. Let's just skip the introduction and start with the guide, beginning with Militia. One of the objectively worst infantry types, poorly trained and poorly armed. They don't even have a machine gun. They should be used as screening units to protect your flank. Alternatively, they can also be used as spam tier cannon fodder leading the charge in place of more capable infantry. They excel in both, mainly because of their low cost and high availability. Now there are two subtypes of militia. Firstly is Scandinavian militia, who contrary to other types of militia, get a machine gun, meaning they're slightly more useful in combat. However, as a trade-off they become slightly more expensive. They still should be used as screeners. However, they shouldn't be used in cannon fodder roles as much, and instead be used in a more supplementative support role with other infantry. The second type is 15-men militia, which the name is self-explanatory. They still cost more, however they are usually motorized and still serve as screening units. They can also be used as frontline filler. Now that I've finished with the poor/spam men's infantry, now it's time to introduce the mainline infantry. Regulars. All-rounders. They can have anything from a poor to excellent RPG, but don't usually have the best firearms. They make up for their lackluster firearms with their generally low cost, decent availability, and a nice wide variety of transports, in this case the Merkava. They should always be used on the front line, however in some cases they can be used to screen the flank. Regular trading isn't exclusive to this infantry type. It's shared by many other infantry types in the game. Now to cover all the other infantry types, with this training level starting with Man-Pat Squats, near universal anti-air, consists of 2 men, and they don't usually cost much. As such they are prone to dying very easily, however, as a counterbalance they get better stealth. Their main purpose is to destroy enemy helicopters that get too close. As they have decent availability, they should either be used on the front line in buildings, in forests near aligned units, or on the flank spots, where helicopters are known to flank. Like squats, man-pad teams offer better anti-air coverage at a much steeper price. They have 5 men exchanging better stealth for more survivability. Their increased range allows them to target aircraft to a greater extent and deal with helicopters at much greater distances. They should only be used on the front line due to their high cost and low availability. Now to introduce the ground equivalent of man-pad squats, ATGM squats are the dedicated long-range anti-vehicle units. They consist of 2 men with very good stealth as a counterbalance to their small squad size and have a decent to excellent ATGM. Their main job is to kill enemy vehicles from a distance. As such they should be near the front line and cover, like buildings or forests. However, don't let enemy vehicles, especially tanks, get super close to them, as they will die very fast. Now then, time for the dedicated anti-infantry units. Sappers are 10-man teams with a flamethrower. Despite their regular training, they are excellent against infantry and will usually win a 1v1 against most other infantry types. They also don't cost that much. However, their main weakness is that they don't have an RPG, meaning they are very weak against vehicles. Typically you'll want to support other infantry with these guys and only really using them on their own if you know there are no vehicles to help the enemy's infantry. On top of that, there is another choice. Engineers. They're much different though. They are a 5-man team with a repeating or manual thermobaric launcher. They should again be used exclusively in support of other infantry, but they can also be used to protect your base on certain maps. However, there is another full class of regular infantry meant to support your infantry. Fire support. However, while there are differences, they all generally serve the same role, so let me just give you the gist of each one quickly this time. Feel free to pause the video to see these. Recoilless rifle, dual purpose, good against infantry and transports, useful for town-to-town fighting, and they excel in buildings. RPG, dual purpose, they have decent flaws with an artificial 70% accuracy. Good when paired with infantry that can't easily deal with vehicles. Grenade launcher, anti-infantry, they have a vehicular-based grenade launcher. Unlike the others so far, they are only optimal for dealing with infantry. They perform at their best in building blocks, where you can position them to outrange enemy infantry. Urix, anti-armor, they have a very powerful short-ranged ATGM which is used in a mostly ambush role against tanks. They can also target infantry, but it's not their main role. They're best used in forests or buildings, near allied units. Finally, it's time to introduce the main assault infantry in the game. Shucks. They have better accuracy than regulars, and they also have the ability to use their machine gun on the move. They typically have a decent or excellent RPG, making them on average better at anti-vehicle than their regular line counterparts, as their availability isn't overly high most of the time, on top of the fact they can be pricey at times. They're best situated as frontline troops. Marines are much like Shucks, but they have a 15-man squad size, making them far tankier against other infantry. However, they aren't as good at anti-tank typically, usually only having a poor or decent RPG. They're best used with other infantry, where they tank most of the damage in combat. There is one last road bump before we get to elites, light infantry. They are typically well suited to supporting other infantry, and typically have long-range anti-vehicle weapons. Now let's speed over these guys. Poor ATGM light infantry are a 10-man squad of regulars with a poor ATGM. They serve as a middle ground between proper ATGMs and recoilless rifles. As their anti-tank at close range is questionable, they should be used at a distance for dealing with light vehicles, and they should be paired with other infantry. Recoilless rifle light infantry are 10 to 15-man shock teams with a recoilless rifle. Unlike ATGM teams, their anti-tank can reliably be used at close range. However, they usually don't have the highest penetration. Typically useful for taking out transports at a good range accompanied by other infantry. However, they can be used on their own. Light infantry brawlers are a 15-man team with a poor to excellent law. Mostly damage absorbers, they are best used to accompany commando/elite teams, as they keep up in terms of speed and infantry fighting potential. Speaking of elites, the best of the best infantry. They're the most accurate infantry in the game, and will usually be able to dispose of any infantry lower than them on the skill ladder. However, they cost a lot and you won't get that many of them. Therefore, they should be used on the flanks in coordination with the front line, just doing a thorn in the enemy's side. However, there are cases where they will be used on the front line, and they typically come with a decent to excellent RPG. Breakthrough elites. 15-man teams armed with a decent law. Unlike the other types, they are primarily meant to fight other elite infantry, and should be used in conjunction with other infantry to break through fortified enemy lines. Man-pad elites are 10-man teams trading the firepower of a machine gun for a man-pad. best suited for going behind enemy lines and dealing damage, as they can also attack aerial targets. However, as said before, they trade out their machine gun for a man-pad, meaning they lose some of their infantry fighting ability. So try to use them in pairs of 2 or with brawler light infantry. Engineer elites. 10-man teams with a thermobaric launcher instead of a RPG. They should be used in frontline combat or for infantry hunting on your own flanks. However, they have a pitiful ability to fight off but the lowest armor of cars and transports, so try to not use them on their own. Thanks for watching. If the guide helped you to understand all the various infantry and wargame better, please like and subscribe. Now bye.